Alright guys, I'm about to make a controversial statement of a real hot take here. If you guys don't want to watch me anymore after I say this, then I understand completely. You'd have to be bonkers to say the words that are about to come out of my mouth in a setting where people can actually hear you. Are you ready? DRM is poison to the gaming industry. I know, real crazy take, right? Here's the deal. You buy a game for the new price of $70, something I refuse to do thanks to the existence of the Steam sale. You get objectively a worse experience than what people who illegally obtain the game to get. Before I go any further, let me explain a little bit about DRM as well as a brief summary behind it. DRM, if you don't know, is an acronym for Digital Rights Management. DRM has been a thing that has been relevant pretty much as long as digital media has existed. It comes in the form of movies, music, software, but the biggest place that you see it being talked about is games. DRM is not really so prevalent in music and movies nowadays, especially due to pressure to support codecs like FLAC, which can put pressure on labels to release music like this, and the same thing pretty much happens in movies, like DivX and all that, bull crap where you couldn't rip your movies off of your CDs. You could argue that the modern day DRM for music and movies is pretty much streaming platforms like Netflix and Spotify. Not a lot of people bat an eye to DRM in this regard, but why is it that when we get on the topic of games, DRM becomes such a big deal? Probably because DRM doesn't ruin the experience of streaming. Look, let's face it, streaming is already hot garbage, and there's nothing that DRM can do to make it any worse. But at least when you want to stream, it just works, man. Earlier I said that the experience with DRM is worse. What regard am I referring to when I say that? Oh, it could be a plethora of things. Performance is the most commonly referred one nowadays, such as with the infamous Nuvo, but what if I told you that this isn't even the only thing that can cause your experience to go sour? The thing about DRM in games is that you actually buy a license to buy the game, you download the game on your computer, and yet you are not free to do with that software as you please. And look, I understand the game isn't open source, and I'm not making a fuss about that. I'm coming strictly from a consumer point of view. Why is it that I can buy a game like Resident Evil Village when it was launched? It doesn't have Denuvo anymore, so thankfully, only to be limited to a certain amount of devices that I can install the game to at a time, and get objectively worse performance than someone who pirated the game and got it for free. Is that not smooth-brained? Is that not brain dead? I paid $60 for this game. DRM is made to prevent the piracy of media. But the thing that is hilarious is that as DRM becomes more stringent, piracy becomes more prevalent. They are directly proportional to each other as dictated by this graph that I made the fuck up because you don't need science to see this. You don't need to make a statistics. It's like a call of the void. It's something your gut tells you just by hearing that comparison. The new Star Wars games that I refuse to name runs like a melting stick of butter down a hill. Obviously, not all of that is DRM. Some of it is optimization related, but I guarantee you that when that game gets cracked, it will go above 60 FPS on average. I guarantee you, you just watch. Not to mention that if you install it to more than 2 devices, you are SOL. You're shit out of luck. Got a desktop, laptop, and Steam Deck? Lol, you can go fuck yourself, bro. You want to hear the funniest part about it? That limit does not stop piracy even a little bit. Even among people who pirate uncracked games such as sharers, the reasoning behind this, it's locked to your account. It's not like someone can download the game on their PC with your account and then play it on theirs. Steam doesn't even let you play multiple games at one time, even with family sharing. And I know what you're thinking. You're about to say, well, what about offline mode? Steam Cloud syncs, so when they make a save and go online, your save progress is probably gonna get erased, which gave people a reason to not do it even before this worthless garbage DRM existed. And see, look, here's the thing. When you're buying the game, you're already getting it in the form of a DRM. Steam is a DRM platform, and I'm about to explain some more on that in a second. But I'm going to show some comparisons first between legit copies of some games alongside their cracked counterparts. Note that I did not pirate these games myself. This is not my footage. These are comparisons that I found, but I will admit that I have experienced this myself firsthand because I was once a very broke child with a computer. Alright guys, well I got Resident Evil Village right here. This is a game y'all seen me play on the channel and y'all recognize this scene. I reacted very vehemently to this scene. And God, look at that. Look at that right there. You see the Steam version with DRM enabled. Here's Hogwarts Legacy. I'll admit I'm not a big Hogwarts fan. I'm not a big fan of Harry Potter, but you see the vast differences in performance. The left side on all these, by the way, are all the DRM version. You're getting like 10%, and look how bad it dips right there, almost 20 FPS. You see the big differences that you are getting in performance with this DRM that the people who pirate it don't have to experience. Look, there are some forms of DRM for the most part I'm alright with. Like launchers, for instance, like Steam, are somewhat fine, though I'll admit I only really give Steam a pass because Valve's a cool company and they have also done a lot for Linux gaming. But what about games that add launchers to launchers? That's right, if you want to play the remastered BioShock games, GTA 5, Battlefield 4, oh boy, do I have some news for you. You have to download some worthless trash program that sticks to your computer's nutsack like testicular cancer on top of the launcher that you have to download to even download the game in the first place, just to play the game. The EA app, the Rockstar launcher, the 2K launcher, etc., all of this shit needs to go, man. I bought the game on the platform I bought it on because that is the launcher I wanted to use. The shitty practice started with Origin back in the day, and ever since then, companies have felt the need to add this to their lineups, slowly, one by one. Keep in mind, I'm not referring to launchers in the sense of like Dark Tide's launcher, but as in like the actual platform that you would use to acquire games directly from that company. Although the other launchers I would like to go as well. Don't even get me started on launchers if you are a Linux gamer. You think you Windows gamers got it bad? Launchers can make or break a game entirely on Proton. Hell, my favorite game, Dark Tide's launcher, is barely functional. I didn't even know it looked totally different on Windows until I saw my buddy Drewski load it up on his desktop. Some games flat out refuse to work, like BioShock Remastered did when they got the 2K launcher added to it. Every time Battlefield 4 gets an update, guess what? I gotta launch it like 7 times and spend 30 minutes out of my day just to get into the game again. Sadly, guys, this is the state of PC gaming today. Hopefully we can mitigate this in the future or even bar the practices entirely. Who knows? I sure don't. I think it'll honestly get worse. We'll just have to wait and see what the future holds for us PC gamers.